Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining us here in a grocery store as we talk about grocery shopping when you are cooking and preparing food for just one person. That is something that I hear from people that I work with all the time, is that it's difficult to think about how to make and prepare and have food on hand whenever you're just cooking for one person. People are tired of being told, well, just make the regular recipe size and then put the leftovers in the freezer. If you do that, you will have leftovers for days. You will be eating lasagna for weeks. You will be bored and tired and angry about all the way that your food is working out for you. And so I want to give you some strategies today to deal with that. I want to talk about some strategies for grocery shopping to keep some variety, and then about the actual cooking for one person. So, we are here in the meat department because this is the most expensive part of a meal plan, whether you are cooking for one or whether you are cooking for 21. A particular frustration when you're cooking for one is that people feel like a lot of money is going to waste because oftentimes this is the package that you see. And if you are cooking for one person, you don't need 14 pounds of pork loin. You need a half a pound, a third of a pound. And if you shop in a grocery store that has a meat counter, you can get exactly what you need. You just have to walk up to the deli, to the counter, and ask. They will package it in quarter pounds. They will package it in half pounds. I know from personal experience that it does not bother them. If you are not in a grocery store that has a meat counter, however, you may need to employ a different strategy, which is right over here in the frozen food section. A really awesome protein choice when you are cooking for one person is shrimp. Okay? Shrimps, in their frozen form, they are easy to take out as much or as little as you need from the bag and put the rest in the freezer. And as a bonus, they keep for a long time and cook really fast. So if you are trying to save time as well as food waste when you're cooking for one, it's hard to beat shrimps. There's also other proteins like chicken that are packaged in individually wrapped serving sizes. They're about 4 ounces each, and that's a really nice strategy to employ if you're cooking for one, because if you get the ones that are not trimmed to 4 ounces, sometimes you end up with a chicken breast that can be 1.5 pounds. And that is a lot, and it takes forever to thaw, and it doesn't cook up quickly, and it's just not really awesome whenever you are just cooking for one person to use those other untrimmed cuts. When you are cooking for one, sometimes it actually works out better to buy the more expensive forms, such as the pre-portioned chicken breasts, instead of the ones that are not trimmed. They'll be more expensive per pound, but if you end up wasting less food, you are actually saving money in the long run. So that's something to remember. A lot of times people will tell me, oh gosh, it's just so expensive to shop for food and then I don't end up using it all. Well, that's probably an indication that you are not buying the right amount of food for you. So some thought about which product in the deli cases or in the freezer aisle is actually going to get you where you're going. That's a good conversation to have with yourself. Another of my favorite protein choices when I'm cooking for one person is the rotisserie chicken. I love rotisserie chicken. It is delicious, and you walk into the store, you buy it, you go home, and dinner is done. And so it can be a really nice way to get a fast meal on the table the day you grocery shop, is to eat the rotisserie chicken with, a microwave sweet potato or baked potato, and maybe even just a can of green beans or something. But if you're just one person and you eat one meal out of your rotisserie chicken, you have 3/4 to 4/5 of a chicken left over. So what are you going to do with that? Anything you want. You can take the leftover chicken and you can take it off the chicken, mix it with some mayonnaise, a little bit of apple cider vinegar. That's chicken salad, and that'll go really nicely on a bed of salad greens. You could take the chicken and turn it into like a skillet stew, which is just rotisserie chicken, a bag of frozen veggies, some broth and milk in there with some Bisquick biscuits on top. That's a 20-minute chicken pot pie type thing. You can take it, the meat off it, put some taco seasoning on it, and call it chicken tacos. Tacos are amazingly easy to do when you're cooking for one. All you need is some protein, some seasoning, and a tortilla. Wrap it all up with whatever leftover veggies you have, or cut up some veggies and saute them quickly, just enough for one person, and you still have a 20-minute meal. Rotisserie chicken goes easy into chicken soup. It's just chicken, vegetables, broth, and then some rice or noodles that you might have on hand. I'll take a little bit longer, maybe 40 minutes to come together into stew, but the rotisserie chicken is a great ingredient that you can have plain and then use in several different things. So you're not eating leftover rotisserie chicken for days and days. If you happen to be in a store that has a bulk bin section, that's a great way to get some of those, novelty items such as nuts, walnuts, almonds, some dried fruit. If you don't want to buy a whole package because you'll be eating it for too long, bulk bins are a really great way to just buy what you need. Unfortunately, I don't have a bulk section to show you here today, but they do exist. There's bulk sections in a lot of different grocery stores. Hy-Vee here in Springfield comes to mind, and it's really nice because you can just buy what you want. It may be more expensive per ounce, per pound, buying nuts from the bulk section than in a package, but if the package is too much for you and half or more of it ends up going to waste, or if you're like me and have a really hard time controlling your portion sizes, especially when it comes to things like nuts and candy and things like that, it's really nice to be able to buy just what you need from the bulk section. I love those orange slices candy, but like 4 pieces is 160 calories, and so I can do a lot more than 4 pieces of those. And so whenever I'm grocery shopping at Hy-Vee, I'll often buy like 1 or 2 slices just because I like them, and then I don't feel guilty because I've had exactly the portion that I wanted. The produce section, which is where we are now, is another place that people complain about to me when they're talking about trying to plan for one person. And that's because often we think we have to buy the 3-pound bag of potatoes, which will take you forever to go through if you're just one person. But you can also buy just single potatoes. You can buy as many or as few sweet potatoes here. There's apples over there. There's bananas over there. Did you know that you don't have to buy the whole bunch of bananas? You can just pick off 1 or 2. I promise you, they'll sell them to you at the gas station. No, they will sell them to you at the cash register. You could also get a single banana if you wanted at the gas station whenever you're filling up your car, if you happen to be there. So it's really nice to kind of look around the produce section for what you have can buy on their own, and think about that when you're making your meal plan. It'll really cut down on waste, save costs, and make you feel like you're more in control. Something though that does not come in smaller portion sizes very often is bagged lettuce. Okay, so I love having a bag of some kind of green on hand because it is a ready-made bed for like a salad. It goes really nicely into tacos, which I was talking about is a great way to meal plan when you're thinking one person. If you get the mixed dark greens though, we got some baby spinach here, there's some spring mix down there, there's some arugula mixes over there with some kale. If you choose those kinds, the dark, hearty mixed greens, those actually are really nice to saute too. Lettuce and other greens is the #1 thing that people tell me goes to waste in their crisper drawer because you don't get to it all, or a salad doesn't sound appetizing. If you're watching this live with us today, it is snowing outside. The salad that I packed for lunch is sounding less and less appetizing by the minute because it's just cold. And so I'm probably gonna have to do something with those greens. I'll throw them in with some protein, maybe a single pork chop, saute that up so I have some cooked greens with some garlic powder, a little salt and pepper, olive oil on top, and it'll be delicious. And that is maybe one way that you can use up the end of the bag of lettuce so it doesn't go to waste after you've had, 1 or 2 salads for the week. Because 1 or 2 salads a week is enough for most people. Those are 2 ways to really help grocery shop when you are cooking for just one person. Think about only buying what you need, and then also thinking about how can I use one ingredient in multiple recipes so that things don't go to waste. The third thing I want to talk about before I part company with you today is another thing that I hear a lot from my clients who are cooking for just one person. Often I will hear, it's just too much trouble to cook for one person. I don't want to spend the time and energy doing it if it's just going to be for me. And to that I will say, you are worthy of being fed just as much as anyone else. It is important to take the time to nourish your body. If you are one person, or you're a family of 5, or a family of 2, or a family of 7, it's always important to make your meal plan, to think wisely about the resources you have and to make the most of it. But it's especially important to think about the care that you are giving yourself whenever you are making a meal plan for one person. So, we talked a lot about some ideas. I'm with you. I don't want to spend hours in the kitchen, but we talked so much about quick meals for hectic family weeknights, and we need to talk about strategies to get quick meals on the table when you're one person as well. So whether that's skillet stew with a rotisserie chicken, or cooking up some quick shrimp scampi on some zucchini noodles, those are fast meals that are nourishing and good for one person or for 4. So don't forget to feed yourself. You're important too. And I hope you use some of these strategies. I am hoping to post a meal plan in the comments below that really demonstrate a lot of these principles we talked about today. Give me some time on that, because right now it's just my handwriting. I want to make it pretty for you. And I also want to hear from you. What are some of your best strategies for cooking for one? Goodbye and thank you. See you next time.